Incredible. Incredible. Can you guys, Aaron, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. If there's any issues with the audio, let me know ASAP. Can you hear me? Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome. If any sounds good, perfect. Perfect. Hope you're not. Are you missing football? Who's your team? Who is your team? And are you? My bad. Missing the game. A little deeper. Cardinals, nice. So is our? I don't know. I don't know the schedule, so I don't know if you get if I'm interrupting your Sunday football. If I am, oops, my bad. I next time I'll not have. We won't clash. Definitely won't clash. So I'll wait a little bit to see what's up, man. We're all in. Good. I'll wait a little longer. You guys can look, just like last time, guys. You guys get me going and talking, I'll talk forever. So whatever you want to start chatting about, we can start chatting right away. You know, any questions you have, anything. This is the members only, fully trans fully transparent. Depends. Um let's just have a conversation, man. Sunday afternoon. It's gorgeous out here. It's about what's it? We're looking around like 60-ish degrees here. You know what post Olympia feels right now? Carbs. I am not carb cycling. Did you just ask that question? I'm not carb cycling. I just realized this week, actually last week, the 24th was like only really a month post show. So it hasn't really even been that 6 week mark. So it kind of makes me realize as well that I am a lot more tired recently. Obviously, usually after prep, because of like, say I would say around like the 6 week out mark, sleep does get kind of, it's a little off, and you're pushing limits. So post prep, there's a good like I always think there's always call like there's a good like maybe 4 to 6 weeks post prep where your body's kind of trying to get back to normal. So you're a little more tired and whatnot. So that's what I'm going through. My thoughts on carb cycling depends. It depends. I don't necessarily like who's it for? Like, are you talking about like a regular, normal, everyday general pop resistance training person? Or are we talking about somebody that's in like a transformation or contest prep? I got my Blizzard, 100%. I've had like two so far. I got my Blizzard. I got a funny story about the Blizzard, actually. Um, I'll tell you this real quick. So I was like, I noticed a couple weeks ago. No, it was last week. It was a couple weeks ago. I was like, I didn't have my Blizzard yet, and I was like, I was craving a Blizzard. So I went to this place, and there's new people that work there. I went to the Dairy Queen, got there, went into the drive-through. I was like, I'm always hesitant about the drive-through because when you go through the drive-through and you ask specifically, they might hear what you're saying, but they're not going to exactly make exactly the way I want it made. So I told them, I want a large Blizzard, Oreo, cookie dough, cheesecake, and I want like extra stuff. I don't care how much it costs. I'll pay for it. Basically, I want half mix, half ice cream. You shouldn't be able to flip it upside down because there's too much mix and it'll pour out. That's how I want it made. I literally ask that every single time. And like, yes, know where I got it. I got it. I'm like, all right, cool. Pull up, pay for it. They're like 11 something. I'm like, no, it doesn't cost $11. Like, I just asked for extra stuff, so you should be charging me more. So I got it, gave it to me, top part, taste it. I'm like, okay, there's a lot here, but to really know if they really truly made it, it should be like right at the bottom. I went and pulled it out, not much mix. It rattled me. So I went right back inside. I went inside this time, went to the teller, went to the front. I'm like, listen, you guys just maybe this, but I'm telling you, this is how I want it made. And then they remade it again, and it was absolutely amazing. So, moral of the story is, if you want what you want, exactly what you want, you got to ask for it and then demand it. Here's my story. Um, No, I'm actually at 220. I fluctuate between like 220 ish, like in between 220, 224, or 225. Depends if I, eat a little bit more on certain days, but my weights fluctuate. So I'm not up to 230 at all, and I do not want to get up to 230 either. The Yeah, yeah. I want to. My goal is to be, you know, under 220. So I know my body's still going up and down, whatnot, but um, I haven't seen. I got to check that out. The Joe Pesci skit. I got to look that up. But as for carb cycling, my thoughts on it for yourself is it's just like why? Like, what is the purpose of carb cycling for the most part? I don't even really know, to be honest, like what people really truly use it for. I know I see the purpose in carb cycling and where it comes from in terms of like prepping, so when you're eating, your carbs are where they're at, whatever, they're at a base, and then you hit a plateau, and then, you might start reducing carbs, and then you had a new set point, and then every once in a while you have like high day of carbs, and that's supposedly going to spike, and which it does, and it will, but it does more so for that athlete that's I see it more so for an athlete competing or prepping or in a transformation where they're hitting plateaus, and their fat loss is the goal to get the to hit plateau so we can get leaner and leaner that way, and then manipulating carbs, and then your body fat percentage is showing signs of a plateau as well too. So like if you're if you get to a point where like if your body fat percentage is, say, like you're at 20% body fat and you're plateauing in terms of losing fat, a couple of things are happening. Number one, you're probably calories are way too low to begin with, and then you're hit a tone because your body's just not going to give for you anymore, or you're just not doing enough in terms of like activity, movement, right? So if you have a good amount of body fat, you're trying to lose weight and you're not seeing much, there's a couple, like I said, a few things are happening. You're either not moving enough in terms of like cardio, or even your deficit isn't where it should be, or you've lowered it too much. So if you are at a steady, if you're for me, if you're in a calorie like if your calories are where they should be and your body fat is where it is high wise, and you're trying to decrease it, I don't think that you would need carb cycling more so than just consistency in your nutrition, in terms of like reducing the carb, or the in terms of reducing the overall calories, or increasing cardio when need be. That makes sense. 4% body fat, calorie definitely is stuff. Okay, yeah. So what's okay? So let's talk more. Okay, so you're at 14% body fat. You want to get a little lower. I get it. Um, what are you doing for? You're right now in a 500 calorie deficit from just food, or is that from food and activity like cardio? Right? Is that 500 calorie deficit strictly from nutrition, or is that a 500 calorie deficit from a bit, half from cardio, or whatever, half from nutrition? So that's where I will look at right away. So that answer, that your answer will give me more insight into in terms of how to, where to go from that. So 200 calorie intake, and then food. Okay, and then how much cardio, or how much moving are you doing, like in terms of training and cardio? How much of that are you doing on a week to week or day to day? Did the team take off? They did. And then Alfonso will answer your question right after this. You do an hour of cardio, 15-degree incline, 3 speed. Yeah, and what's your goal? Your goal is to get down to what? Um, so if you're a 500 calorie deficit, you are probably around um okay. What up, fish? Yeah, so I would say, like, if anything, you're how much you weigh? I'm assuming you're high two, you're probably 220-ish, or getting down there. And correct me if I'm wrong. You should be around like 2-ish, 220, around that. Right? 210, you want to be 210, 8% body fat. Okay, so like yeah, you got room. Like and again, like this is a I'm assuming this is like a transformation you're trying to get to sustain that or just to get there? Okay, you're 225, that makes sense. So you're trying to just get to 8% and stay there, or you're just trying to get there as like as a benchmark and then take some pictures and then go back up to more of something that's like more sustainable. Because if you're trying to get to 8% body fat, I'll let you know what we're trying to do because again, your answer in terms of if you're trying to make this sustainable or just like a goal, then we can go to the next answer. Um, and while you're giving me that question, Alfonso, so you have my book and you are doing where'd you go here? Sorry about okay, so you what want to add deadlifts on back day or leg day. I would add it if conventionals, I would add on your back day. Add on your back day. Add on the and then like make sure your back days aren't around like if it's like a push pull legs and you have like a heavy dead, and you're doing like I would say keep your deadlifts maybe away from your leg days that involve a lot of hinging, if that makes any sense. Like if you got a hamstring day, if your leg day the next day is going to be like, lying hamstring curls, maybe some squats, whatever. Yeah, maybe. But if you're going to, I wouldn't be doing heavy deads, then break before, or if anything, I would maybe switch and do like a push legs pull just so you can, if you want to prioritize that, or take your leg day and put it on. I mean, your deadlifts and put it on the second leg day. Did we answer 225? Yes, just to get there and stay there. Okay, to get there and stay there. So I would just suggest that you can like if you're like right now I'll give you a quick answer for this one. If you're eating 800 calories right now, you're doing an hour of cardio at a pretty good, it's a pretty good rate, not too that's zone two for sure. Um if you're not hungry, like if this is not a hard thing for you to do, like to achieve right now, I would I would take out about maybe 200 calories and then and just do that for a bit. And then when that stalls, then I would increase your overall amount of cardio by like 15-ish minutes, not too much. And then let that ride and go like that for a bit. Um, because you're gonna want like if you want your end goal to be something sustainable, you got to take your time getting there. And that's I would say that's the biggest piece of advice I'm gonna give you. If you're trying to, I want to sustain 8% body fat, then the rate you get to 8% body fat will determine how well you can actually sustain that. Because if it's a quick, I want to get there in a month, you probably can for sure. You can be extreme about it, but the extreme measures or maybe that strategy won't be sustainable. So if your goal is like 8% body fat, I would just, make little adjustments as you go. Let your body adapt to being at a certain, caloric intake with the activity you're doing. So you're not excessively doing things too much because again, you're not going to be able to sustain 8% body fat if you're rushing down there. So I would take small little changes like this, decrease your cardio, I mean your calories by say like 200, increase your cardio by maybe like 15-ish minutes, see how that goes for a bit, and then continue going down and down. And then at the same time, still keep your intensity in terms of your training up because you're still you can still build some muscle being at 40% body fat. So there's still amount of muscle that's there that can be built on the way down. That's going to help that in the long run anyway. So that's what I would do with that, if that makes sense. But again, do not rush to get there. Fish, welcome to the membership. Get your questions. Who else we got in here? How many members we got today? We got 71 right now in here. Listen, we need to start talking then, guys. We need to start chatting. Let me know what's up. There you go. Which workout split is better, chest, shoulders, and tries and buys, and biceps, or chest and buys? Okay, so splits like the split. It's the split that works the best is the one that is going to reflect your goals, right? So, I would say that what is your priority? Like that's what you base your put it this way. To answer your question, you should be basing your split around your weak body parts. So like, if you're like, I want to do push pull legs, right? And everyone's like, I want to do push pull legs. No, they don't realize that you can do a legs push pull. You can do a push legs pull. You can do a push legs pull uh pull push legs. It doesn't have to be push pull legs, push pull legs, right? Or it doesn't have to be a, chest on Monday. It can basically be, if anything, if whatever muscle group that you have is a priority to get to change or get bigger, whatever it is, I'd be putting that at the beginning of my week and then coupling it with, another muscle group. So if your chest is a weak muscle group and you want to build your chest, and you're saying, like, say your triceps are just as weak, I would take my chest, prioritize that, and say, like, take my triceps and give it, some movements on, exercise on that chest day. But then I would prioritize a tricep day, or an arm day and whatnot. So think about that when you're looking at making a split, if that makes any sense. And I get that all the time. A lot of times I get, what is the best split? It's like, it's not like there are splits, but how you arrange your split is going to be determined on, like, what is the muscle groups that you're trying to improve. The best way to go against a bicep strain or tear or rupture is to go to a doctor. I want to say just go to a physiotherapist. Get, like, for me, I'll give you the answer that I would give based on how I would, and how I always approach anything like that. I get a tweak in my arm. It doesn't feel good. It feels off. I know my body. I'm like, I need to go see someone to give me a diagnosis of what's actually going on. So I can, so I have a clear head, or I'm not worrying for no reason, or I'm making sure I take the measures that I need to take. So if you have a ruptured, possibly, if it is a guaranteed rupture, rest that thing, let it recover, go see physio, get them to look over it properly, give you the proper physio exercises to do to strengthen it, and take the necessary time off. You will live to see another day. So give it time. And you know what? If it's obviously it's going to be bilateral, so if it's one arm, you still train. Just make sure you're resting on the other arm. What's the best case? Cool. What is your thoughts on modified candlestick for abs? If they work for you, do them. That's my advice. Like, guys, like, honestly, I make. Let me give you guys a clear, because you guys, my guys, girls, everyone, you're here, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. When I create content, it's created in a way where we call it, like, evergreen content, stay power stuff. Anything that in 3 years someone can go on and look up how to do a certain whatever it is. So I make content based on the, like, more so from the beginner standpoint, and then I add in some other things in there that I know, that because I'm not just talking to a bunch of beginners, there are some advanced and intermediate lifters here in the space. So if I suggest a certain ab exercise, for me, I'm suggesting the one that scientifically, when it comes to, like, maximum hypertrophy, I'm suggesting that. But if you are doing a movement that you connect with the most, like, as long as you exhaust the muscle in a way where it is not, you're not loading on dysfunction, right? If you're doing whatever movement you're doing, um, candlesticks, let's just say, Russian twists, leg lifts, knee raises, whatever it is, as long as you're exhausting the muscle that you are intending to exhaust, whatever movement you want to do it, right? If that's the best thing to give you. And I'm always going to add in content there that I always want to add variety that's there for people to, just try to take another approach of a certain movement or exercise. But when it comes down to it, if you can connect to that movement, whatever movement it is, that's going to be the one that you're going to have the best results from. Period. That makes sense. Off topic, do I play an instrument? Yes, I play 7. It's a good question. How'd you get that one? I'll be back to that question in 2 seconds. Actually, hey Johnny, if you're doing a PPL, is it okay to have the same exercise with push, pull legs, and B? Should you have the same variety? No. So, like, the reason why push, pull legs is really good in terms of, like, volume and frequency is that you don't have to. You can always finish up that muscle you did on Monday again, or on the first push day, on the next push day, right? So it gives you the ability to be able to, you for me, I have like when I do push pull legs or program on whatever, I have a push day one that is, you know, chest primary, and I would say shoulder secondary, where you're still going to have some shoulder movements that are in there to, I guess I would say, get my quota in terms of, training my muscle groups twice a week, 10 to 20-ish hard sets. So, I get that, I'm able to get my quota by having 2 days like that. But you can 100% have the exact same day on both. It's completely fine. So, like, for instance, for me, my legs are pretty much very balanced, hamstrings and quads. So, like, when it came to my prep this year, my leg days were almost virtually the same on both days, right? I would say that they are not the same. They should change, or they should have some variety if there is, again, we're coming back to like targeting muscle to enhance that muscle to get bigger, and we want to make sure we can reach our quota in terms of training it twice a week, etc. Then yeah, we want to, not overload one day with just a bunch of, you're not trying to hit your entire quota of, twice a week training that one muscle group on one day. We can actually divide it up on the other day. But yeah, it's completely fine to do the exact same thing on those days. But yes, I do play. I started playing piano when I was 3, then violin at 5, then guitar came with that, and bass. Bass is just reversed violin, saxophone, alto, and tenor, and drums. And I sing too. But like I'm very picky about singing because I find it's one of those instruments that you got to really warm up, and you can't just come out and be singing because you don't want to be that person that just singing stuff and don't sound that good. So I would say I'm definitely insecure with my singing. I'll admit that 100%. I have a question. Cool. Donna wants to know what is being end of your videos. Oh, I think he's saying like on the way. I think it's just on the way. Literally, my brother is a musician too. Our whole family is a bunch of full of musicians and reverends, literally. Um, and he creates my music. So he made that song. I was getting copywritten left and right, so I needed some music that would not be copywritten. So yeah, it's on the way. Pretty yeah. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. That's why I'm always preaching, you know, go and take a chance on you. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the pandemic, when I was like, this is the first time ever that we are forced to do nothing. And I was like, and I literally said it in a video. I was like, I'm gonna take all of my talents and I'm gonna throw it at the wall like spaghetti, and I'm gonna see what sticks. Literally, that was it. I'm like, everything that I'm doing, like everything that I know, and I did this and you guys should try it too. Do this drill. Write down all the things that you have actually done. And like for me, for instance, like I would say, musician, I can say a musician. I do play the piano, I play instruments, and I do play them at a professional level. So yes, I'm a musician. So I put musician. I have an ebook that I have, so I can say published writer of some sort, whatever, right? I'll put a bunch of things down that I know that I've done that is talent based. And then when you have those things, then it's like, all right, let's try these things. Why the heck not? So that's what I did. And acting, music, art, uh, all of this, it's just me just projecting it and seeing if I can make it with those talents. So I always suggest that people do the same thing. A music theory, I play by ear. I took lessons to my grade 6 Royal Conservatory, and it is so. I'm full disclosure. I'm dyslexic, so I have a I don't say I have. I'm beating the shit out of all my mental illnesses or whatever setbacks that are perceived. But I have for me, reading is my brain reads things too fast, predicts things way too quick before I can read over the actual words. So the same thing happened to me when I was doing lessons in theory. So for me, looking at a bunch of dots, in across lines was just like not happening. But I can pick things up like super easy. So I would literally get my music teacher sometimes to play the song, or my mom or whatever, and then I would listen to it, or I would record it and play it back. And that's how I really got, played most of my music. And then I would get exposed when I had to do theory and then fail miserably. So oh, so being weighed? No, there's nothing about being weighed. Actually, funny thing, on that weight topic, I say at the end, if you guys ever see, if stick to the end, I say binge watch my videos. My brother, who helps with my channel, he's like, "Hey, let's stop saying binge watch your videos." I'm like, "Yeah, it's smart." He's like, "Yeah, negative connotation. If we're trying to teach people to not have eating disorder, let's not use words like binge at the end." And it's not a positive thing anyway. So don't binge watch my videos. Schedule them on a day to day or hourly if you may, and then not binge them. So I do want to get so travel wise, guys. I'm planning on traveling this year. I do plan in November for 3 weeks. I'm going to spend some time in the states, going state to state to state travel. So you guys will know I'm spending this entire month getting ahead of videos and planning that out. And the whole premise behind that will be obviously collaborating with other YouTubers, but the main thing is literally getting to places and opening up coaching one on one, and then you can be on the video, um, so forth. So you know about that. But Arizona is something that I'm trying to get. I got some people in Arizona. It's just like you guys are so blessed. Some of you Americans, if you guys are all from the States, you guys are blessed. Just don't take it for granted where you guys live. For me to travel is like a pain in the ass. I would love to just go to Arizona right now. If I lived back home and where I'm from, where I'm originally from, I'd be able to hop in Detroit, zoink right over. I'd be good. For me, traveling takes a full day to get out of this damn country, which is super annoying. But I will be there. You'll know. Top 5 Olympia predictions. Um, if everyone comes in, because that's my prediction is always, my prediction is based off of if they come in their best. I'm predicting they are going to come in like if Nick Walker takes care of all of his imbalances, whatever, and is peeled and full at the same time. If Samson Dowd is peeled and full at the same time, if Andrew Jacked is peeled and full at the same time as Hattie Chopin, if Lunsford, if those guys are peeled and full at the same time, who's gonna win? Andrew Jacked. And it'll be one of the hardest. It'll be one of the hardest, and not by a mile either. I have Andrew Jack, Samson Dauda, Lunsford, because from those from Andrew Jack winning, I would say they go from overall fullness, conditioning, and great aesthetics. So he kind of would lead the way in that, have a great flowing physique. So they would base that top 5 off that. So Lunsford would sure be in that top 3. Second would for sure be Samson Dowdy, because he's still got a very good look for him with the size. And then I would say Hattie Chopin right after Lunsford, but very, very, very tight. And then honestly, Nick Walker in there at the end, because you can't ignore that dude. He's what Branch Warren. We're okay. we're we're by ourselves. He's what Branch Warren wish he was. So there you go. no one can hear anything but us. Question: push legs split for 6 days. Which days can I fit accessories like side laterals, triceps to improve imbalances? And also, can I do push-ups, pull-ups every day? So you can. So I have I want to know what Arrow. Give me first of all, guys. When you give me a question, I want you guys to tell me your names too, because I don't want to know you guys just by, because I know your mom to give you a name, Arrow Sky the Net, whatever that is. So let me know what your name is, and I want to know, so you get a little personal here. But I want to know why, why this question is coming up, because I'll give you a reason why I'm saying this. I find that because of the information someone like myself and Dr. Mike put out, I think we put out some very straightforward info, but we're very influential as well too, in terms of we'll make a suggestion, and because we're, I would say, consistent in what we do, what we teach and whatnot, you're reluctant to listen to it. So I'm assuming that you're not thinking about accessories because you're probably minimizing your days in terms of training. I'm assuming way too much for you, bro, but I'm assuming that you're not putting on accessories in those days because you're trying to be a minimalist and capitalize or maximize the lifts that you're doing and prioritizing that. Am I right? Okay, so traps rhomboids not developed with scapula wing. Oh, dude, so that's easy. Listen up, everybody. This is a great question for all of us. So all of your days you can again, all of your days you can have accessory work. I like prioritizing my accessories in terms of like I'll do say like my compounds first, right? Say like a chest. This is make easy. Do a chest day. I'm doing like 15-degree incline, maybe, or 30-degree incline. I'll sit there for a bit and I'll do maybe 2 presses, or even just sit there and do one and do like 6 hard sets of that or whatever. And then I'll add in an accessory. The accessory, whatever accessory that I feel that my body needs to more attention in terms of like, muscular development, I always do some type of a lateral raise on my shoulder, on my chest days, and then I'm definitely doing an accessory of like a cable fly of some sort. So I could on one day do literally one pressing movement, and then my accessory be like a fly, a chest, cable fly. So I might do like maybe 6 hard sets of cable of chest, 15-degree or 30-degree incline, and then I'll do 4 hard sets of cable flies, and then I'll add in a shoulder lateral raise or the variation of the front cable overhead low pulley upright, or what the fuck you want to call them. So like you can't add those in there. So you know, adding in accessories on every single day is completely fine because those like accessory movements are ones you can train pretty frequently. Now, when it comes to you are looking at your scap development isn't there, or like you're trying to build the rhomboids are not developed with scapular wing and whatnot. I'm looking at what do you like when we're looking at development in that area. If someone's like you know like yourself giving me this, I will look at what are my scap retracting movements looking like in my program, right? What am I going to get the best bang for my buck? And if we're trying to develop, say, like your traps, rhomboids, you know, I'm looking at pulls. Some good pulls where we're accentuating the protraction and retraction, and you'll get a lot of that work in that, right? Especially because you can load. Think about this. If I'm doing a dumbbell row, barbell row or a pull of some sort, I can load a lot more weight doing the actual full pull and retracting my scapula than I can say like doing um reverse cable something or others for that area. Does that make sense? Right. So if I want to create the most muscle recruitment, I'm looking at your pull day movements and looking at that and be like, okay, where can I definitely, you know, increase uh my ability to grow here more. Now, my client who I train with in the morning, I've been training for like over 2 years, and we my focus to getting her to fill out in her traps, rhomboids, rear delts was focusing on all her rowing movements that would make her, would create a lot of muscle recruitment that would have full protraction and then fully retracted. And that has filled her entire back in. And then adding those type of, accessories in there after. I think accessories for me are like finishers, like really good isolating finishers that you have enough energy and it's enough, I would say, um, difficulty in order to really get results from it. So banging your chest with a compound movement and then finishing it off with flies for me is like that is like my kind of go-to thing. So very long-winded answer for that. My bad. But yeah, anybody using the app, RP app, let me know. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. You can definitely add those in there. I would add I during prep, I literally did, let me see, is 3 or 4 row movements too much? So yeah, so I'm gonna say yes, 100%. Reason why is because there's so much overlap, right? I don't know if I answered this question enough, and maybe I have to do another video on this. Doc Mike's done a ton of videos on it as well too. But it's the question is like how many movements do you need to do for a muscle group? And we have to look at, what does the muscle actually do? So let's just take back for instance, right? How many rowing movements are you like? How many moves do you need to do to cover the entire back before we're getting overlap in movements, right? So let's put it this way: we have a vertical pull, right? We have a pull up, and we're getting not much scap retraction. We're just getting scap elevation, right? And then you say you do a rowing movement, which is going to do, appreciate it, boss. And you can do rowing movement, which is going to be like, mid row, you're getting scap, retraction, protraction, retraction, and then lat as well too. So we're getting lat, lat with scap, and then we're getting, looking at your rear, your erectors, right? So put it this way: pull up or pull down, a mid row of some sort, and then some kind of a bent over row challenging your erectors, or maybe you're just doing, you know uh, back extensions, right? So when it comes to rowing movements, if I'm looking at 3 to 4 rowing movements, like how many rowing movements am I doing that are so overlap, right? If you're looking at rowing, if I'm doing a straight arm, like you can do one, literally one rowing movement. You got to look at more so of not how many exercises it is, but how many sets sh- should I be doing? Hard sets should I be doing to target that area? That should be the question you should be asking yourself, not necessarily how many exercises, right? Because again, I make it super simple. If I'm doing a seated row, right, feet here, I'm doing a row like this, right? Don't do rows like that, but you get my picture. This is the exact same thing, right? Me being horizontal is the exact same thing as if I would be this way and now vertical, right? It's the same movement. It's only a different type of pull, but I'm literally doing the same thing. I'm doing the exact same thing. I am challenging my lower back still. I'm getting lat activation. I'm getting scap retraction, right? So how many times can you repeat that actual movement, right? And you can repeat that movement 10 times. You go to Pure Muscle Fitness and sit on a bunch of back rowing machines, and you've virtually done the same movement more than once, right? So you look at that as like, how many movements it is. Yeah, for sure. So I would say, let me see, two high row. You say I do two high row, vertical row, and then you do a horizontal. Yeah, I mean, like I would say three total movements in general, right? I would say three total movements you would need for back. You don't need more than that. What's up, Johnny? Oh, Johnny, what's up? Hi, Johnny. Johnny here. Quick question. I improve in every lift except pull-ups. I'm stuck at 14 pull-ups for a year now. I do them on my pull days. Have tried weight pull-ups, but so do you only get like? Are you like you? Do you get 14 and that's it? You know what I mean? Like, do you go and do a set and then you do a set and you get to 14 and you can't do 15 and that is it, or are you doing like 3 sets of 14 reps? Let me know that answer and I'll give you my answer. My man Mike just being a boss on there. Appreciate you, Mike. Um, we got a side conversation going on here. I'm missing it. What I miss? Sorry, let's go back to the question. My bad. Nice. Good to hear. I'm just like doing come from a family. Oh, nice. Do we just become best friends? That's cool, man. You know what? I find a lot. I have a lot in common with people. Um, Law of attraction, man. For post workout, should you be eating right away, or I'm gonna answer this question, guys. Sorry. Um, so to answer the question, um, so when I answer Fish's question for post workout, should you be eating right away, or does waiting 1 hour work best? What do you do? Or so meal timing there is a thing, but it also isn't a thing, right? So you do want to get nutrients into your body after workout in a in a proper fashion, I would say anything like, so put it this way, it's very case to case. If you do the hardest leg, say you have a hard workout, legs, there's no way you're eating anything after you're done, right? You do lactic acid buildup. You're probably you're not. I'm never hungry after the gym, not even close. It takes me a good, I don't know, maybe 30-ish minutes to an hour for my body to kind of like regulate, and then those hunger cues actually be there. So I would say like anything like 30 minutes to an hour after is good to get nutrients in your body. It's not going to kill you if you don't. So that whole like anabolic window of protein, don't set an alarm and change your life around just to hopefully get food in. As long as you're eating, let's say within like the hour after you work out, you're gonna get your best results in terms of your body needing nutrients after. And again, like when you're done working out, give it some kind of like a simple carb to get fuel into it right away, and some good fats, and obviously high quality protein. Um, yeah, I know your name, Mike. Post workout, should I have? Oh, here's the questions. Here's the question, Fish. And to answer your question too, I won't be doing push-ups and pull-ups every single day either. Right. Let's get back down to these questions here. Sorry, guys. Muscle balance. We got this. Chaps answer that question. We got the row one here. I was 630 pounds, and you're now 400. What? That's what I missed. Good shit, man. Wow. Um, what workout can you recommend for your channel that I can implement on a regimen? Also, how can how can you be members only? Basically, you are. You must have gotten here somehow. Basically, go on if you go into my main page. There's a little thing that says join. Press join, and you're good. And that's basically you're a member. Then you got some exclusive content for you guys. So back to your question, Biggie Biggs, man, congratulations, man. Keep up the fucking good work. Absolutely amazing. What workout can you recommend from your channel that I can implement on my regimen? Also, how can I be in your member? So anyway, how many days a week? How many days a week can you train? What is it? What's that look like? Give me that answer down there. I'll get back to that question ASAP. Um, cool. And I don't think I got a question from answer back from my boy about the pull-ups. So give John, I'm waiting for your answer about the pull-ups. So Biggie, any of the exercises, any of the full workouts, you could literally follow my prep series if you want to. Um, you can literally just follow that. But again, I'm reluctant to say follow things to a T, more so I'm like, what are your goals? If anything, we just want you to move around and connect well with the muscle, flowing your motion, whatnot. So any of the workouts, I've done a push pull leg series. It's put it this way: how many days a week you go into the gym, and then whatever those days are, split them up. You can literally pick any of the exercise that I've done or workouts that I've done. I've done them in a way. Literally, I do all my workouts in a way where I would assume someone like yourself would want to follow along and do that. So you can literally pick any of them. Pick any of them right now if you want to. Let me know which one you're looking at, and I'll fill you in with that. Give me a sec. Okay, a finisher I use for push day is barbell upright row above the head for bar, only 3 sets of reps. And on pull day, cable side shrugs. Nice. Yeah, you're talking about the are you talking about the pulls like this, the cable shrugs? Let me know. I'm gonna read this over again. A finisher I use for push day is barbell upright row above the head. Doing this one, 3 sets, and then cable 2 sets. So how do you want me to explain this? Let me know what you want me to explain. But that's I'll give you like specific sets and reps. Let me know. Overall health, it's just Surgeon General says 150 minutes a week. It's basically like 30 minutes, 5 days a week of zone 2 cardio. Very easy cardio for the one set. Okay, so if you're gonna do this, oh, you want to explain how to do those. So I would do this. I would take the finisher. You're talking about the upright rows. You go above your head and slowly decrease. Sorry, and slowly eccentrically load or lower the weight. Do give yourself like 5 to 15 reps. Basically, like if you can't do minimum of the 5 reps, stop doing them. Basically, right? I would do that. 3 hard sets of that, and then go into. So the cable one, there's one way I did the cables. If you're doing the way you probably saw me do them at the Pure Muscle and Fitness, I did them in a way where, let's just say the cables came in front of me, then I walked closer, and they came this close, then I walked. They're this way, then they're this close, and they're kind of behind. So I did 3 different sets. I did 3 sets of different loading points, right? So this way got a lot of retraction, closer got elevation, and then back we still got some elevation, but from the back. So that's how I did that. And then I would squeeze. I would hold, and then fully stretch it, hold, and fully stretch. And I do like, I think I did around like 10 to 15 reps of those. So give that a try. See how that works. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So don't think of like steps more so than like think like retraction. So you want the cables to be in front of you, right? So you have to pull back in here, right? We don't want this, right? We want to pull from here first, right here and fully out, here and fully out, and then walk until you're I would say right directly in the middle of the cables, and then you're doing elevation, right? And then you walk forward and then it's grabbing from behind, and now you're doing this way, right? So those are the different ways that I do them. Yeah, say 10 to 15 reps of each, and you're good. So 14 pull-ups is my PR. Normally I do 3 sets of 14, 11, 8, 6, or something like that. But I can't do more than, man, I want to know what those 15 look like, those 14 look like. Right. So regardless of what they look like, I would do this. There's a couple things you can do. Number one, when you get to your failing set, I would do a bunch of negatives, right? So you can put I don't know if you're whatever you're at, put like a stepper or a box or whatever, and then when you're done, you can't get up anymore. I would get to the top, like kind of jump, catch yourself, and then lower yourself, and do like a few negatives after that. That has helped a lot. Also, like doing assisted again. So do some assisted pull-ups where it's taking away some of your weight, right? So you're doing, and you want to get yourself accustomed to doing more reps. You know what I mean? What it looks like here is like you do 14 pull-ups is it's your first one you do 14, boom, you're done. Then next one you do 11, and then you do 8, and you do 6, basically going down in terms of like failing. I would say like try to rest a little longer and get a higher rep range, right? Or add some assistance so you can get more reps, right? Because if your body gets used to just doing 14, 14, 14, you gotta teach your body to get stronger. Yes, it's like when it comes to doing pull-ups, you basically plateau because you're able to pull your own body weight. And then you want to say like adding on weighted pull-ups, that kind of works per se, but you're still going to be plateaued at that point. So you're not necessarily going to be able to lift more, because to be able to lift more adding weight, you have to lift less, right? So I would say like drop the weight load, or even like say add weight, do weighted pull-ups, and have a lower rep range, and then progressive overload that new weight for yourself instead of always trying to get 14 to start. Hope that makes sense. From my boy, I'm gonna call you Ravi because I don't know how to say the rest. Mr. Tell like it is, how is it is good, buddy. Thoughts on balancing bodybuilding and athletic training for a sport like martial arts. Would love to. So yeah. So here's the thing about bodybuilding, and this is why it was so easy, I guess, for me to transition. Perfect, buddy. Thanks, Johnny. The reason it was easy for me to transition from football to bodybuilding is because I had that same approach. Now, when people say, how do I balance both? Here's the thing. There's bodybuilding muscle or look. And a bodybuilding look is a very shoulders, buys, and tri chest thing, right? When it comes to athletics, if you're what are you martial arts? So like for the most part, when it comes to athletic training, everybody is athletic from the waist down, right? Functional. So you're training a certain way for that sport to be, to excel however you should from the waist down, and then obviously when you're boxing, whatever, how you can come, continue to go up as you go. So what I'm getting at is this: if when I was playing football, I was lifting to get faster, more powerful. So I was always doing stuff like squatting and deadlifting and leg presser, like whatever it was, right? But then I would train those aesthetic, muscles. I would train buys and tries, and you know, uh, I would train obviously for power and strength for my chest, but then I would have, strength block or like blocks or mesocycles in there that I'm doing more volume. So to make things super easy to understand is periodization. Have some mesocycles in there that are bodybuilding, right? You shouldn't be only just training specifically for your like for your sport, in a sense. I mean, you shouldn't only just be doing, say, martial arts and all that involves martial arts and training to strengthen your legs and striking power. You should have a well-rounded plan where you're training for a foundation base where you're trying to build muscle, right? And building muscle is basically like the bodybuilding, territory. Building muscle is what bodybuilders do. Athletes are strong and they're powerful and they're fast. They're explosive, right? So you can add those things in there. Just I would say have them in a periodized in a way where you have mesocycles. You have a strength phase, you have a build phase, and flopping back and forth like that, or having days where like when it comes to sports like buys and tries aren't you're not training. You're having big arms isn't, or good looking arms doesn't athletically help anything at all. So no one programs, as long as I've been coaching, I've never seen or never programmed any athlete to have buys and tries specifically for for muscle, for their sport. Same with like shoulders and whatnot. The biggest thing when it comes to training for athletics and aesthetics is making sure that you're staying mobile and flexible, because the problem with training for both, when people mix these things up, and that's why they don't do it as much, is because when it comes to training for building muscle, a lot of people neglect stretching. So they put their functional training on the back burner. They've built a bunch of strength and size in their chest, but they didn't stretch. And all of a sudden now their swing is off from golf, or their punch, or, their swing from, a baseball bat or a hockey stick. They're too, thick here now, or they're too thick here and they haven't worked on their mobility. So now they're more restricted. So you can 100% do both. It's just, you have to make sure, again, prioritize. Make sure you understand like what you're prioritizing first and foremost. Sorry, I was paying for the memory. Oh, all good. I had to. I only do zone 2. Okay, cool. I only do zone 2. Let me actually make sure I answer these questions first. We'll go back to this. I hope I answered the question. Ravi, let me know if I answered that question. If I didn't, I'll go back and answer the rest. Yeah. Cool, John. It makes sense. So you are doing zone 2 cardio, which is good. I've only been going to the gym for 7 days. I've been going to the gym 7 days a week since April Okay, it's a lot. Good shit. I walk 2 miles in the morning, then 7 miles on every. Okay, so yeah, any if you're training that frequently, gym, number one, I'm going to tell you and suggest you take some rest days for sure. Uh, give yourself a break. What you've done is incredible, but again, you want to think you're at the beginning of this journey. You want to think, sustainability and be able, like, you want to be able to do this forever. So, same answer I gave earlier is making sure that this is you're taking your time doing this, and you're taking the right approach. 7 days a week in the gym to me is like on one side it's like nice, I love it, motivation. On the other side it can be problematic. So make sure you're giving yourself the right amount of rest. So if you're training 6 days a week, push pull legs, any of the workouts that I've done, you can easily stick in and do it, right? Whatever chest workout I did, add that to your chest or your push day. Whatever shoulder day I did, you can make that your second push day or your first push day, whatever it is, and go for the same thing with like legs and back. But again, add in rest days, especially if you're running a lot too, yeah, I'm sorry, walking, whatnot. Still make sure you're taking some days off. Listen to your body if it's tired. And I know a lot of times too, when people start their journey and they're making great progress, that they don't want to stop, and it's a great thing, but you need to like just take some days where your body can completely rest, get away from the whole goal oriented environment, the pressures of that are sometimes subconscious and conscious, and so you can continue this over and over and over again. So hope that answers your question, buddy. Isn't it better to make the bar touch your chest while having shoulders deep down, or having shoulders aligned with chest even if the bar isn't touching? Is it better to make the bar touch your chest while having shoulders back and down, or having your shoulders back and down with your chest even the bar isn't touching? So I saw this post that Mike did, and I agree with this. Like, every once in a while, I pass back his stuff, and it's cool because we align so much. Obviously, he's a professor, so I would definitely align with it. But it's the full range of motion, or I would say like the whole touching of the chest thing. And guys, you can go back some of the stuff I've coached before. I've coached sometimes to not touch the chest, to keep the muscle firing, because sometimes when people do touch their chest, they're either bouncing it or they disengage. So for me, when I was coaching, like coming like an inch away from your chest, it was because from the basic, you can't take a break an inch from your chest and you're staying active. Now, touching your chest is just increasing that range, but it's also increasing the range of motion in the part of the lift where you're getting the most amount of hypertrophy. That's why that's why we preach that full range of motion. You probably see Doc Mike or anyone do like camber bar press, or we've seen me do the technique with the dumbbells where I come even deeper in like underneath the the chest when I'm lifting. It's to, again, we're just trying to emphasize the part of the lift that's going to do the most amount of damage and good to building muscle, right? So if coming down your chest is going to give you that much more range of motion under load and that much more hypertrophy, that's why. So the answer to your question, it is better. Um, it is better for sure, just for that reason. I've got a question. Running, I've got trouble making it to work with leg workouts and training program. I use the Ollie lift. I used to Ollie lift. Okay, cool. And then, okay, I'm 40 now. How do you RX balancing legs in running? Ooh. Okay, how many days can we go? Mm, so, Tommy, give me your split. Give me your split. Okay, cool. 6 days a week. Okay, and what's your goals? Give me your split and your goal. let me know. Sorry. I'll get back to that. Do you have show prep programs January? So I don't have show prep programs. The reason why I don't have show prep programs is because you can't make show prep programs. Like you just can't. You know what I mean? You can have like an outline and like, but things change. You know what I mean? Like things are gonna change throughout prep. You'll start say 16 weeks. It'll be hard for you to make a 16-week training program for somebody for a competition that they can take and just follow, because at certain points there's going to be a point where there's going to be a change that's being made, a change to nutrition, in cardio intake, caloric intake, cardio output, training. So there isn't there is, I would say, in the off season there is, because you can always, that's not as it's easy to manage off season work than it is somebody that's basically making a transformation and has to have you know adjustments made to their plan. Okay, up one, run, up two, legs, and you're having a hard time programming this together. So here's what I did. Here's how I used to plan. I would say this looks more like very athletic, right? Functional. I used to do like a 4-day split where it was a upper lower, upper push pull on day one. Day two is like your legs. Then I had like a break. Day three, or the next day was your upper push pull. Day two, and then running on the other, or I would say like plyometrics, anything that was leg oriented that wasn't resistance or gym work, right? So that's how I used to plan it, right? I do a push pull. It'll be like, say, a superset bench, or chest back accessory, some kind of chest and back accessory, whatever. And then day two will be a leg day. And if it was a build phase, it'll be hypertrophy leg day. You're squatting, lunging, RDLs and whatnot. And then I'll have a rest day. And then on my next push day, my next upper day again, will be the upper push pull, but it'll be shoulder. It'll be more shoulder focused. And on those days, if it was hypertrophy, it'll be like hypertrophy work. If it was strength, or if it was like more of like strength and explosion, it'll be ollie lifts, cleans, overheads, clean and jerk, clean and press, with some back exercise in that as well too. And then my next leg day would be a plyometrics, speed work, etc. That's how I would do it. So I'm going to finish this up here, buddy. Sorry. 5 days a week lifting. All right, we'll go back. Biggs, 5 days a week lifting. Great. 5 days a week lifting. You can do a regular bro split. Grab any exercise I've done. I would make sure too that you keep things relatively intense. Scale things up. Take your breaks as should. You can do easily 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, or 5 days in a row. Take the weekend off. Again, any of the exercises that I've done before, plug and play, basically. So we're back with my boy Tommy. Okay, Tommy. So, and you'd say you'd rather do. Let me see. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you all over, man. Appreciate you. Send me a message. Tell wife I said what's up. So you much rather prefer upper one run, core, legs, upper two run, X. So you would much rather prefer training 6 days a week? And like, how are you dividing up your upper days, right? Because your issue is getting in your running, your leg days. So that's a lot, dude. It's a lot. You'll burn the hell out. You'll burn. That's a lot. I would do like, obviously your core is a rest is an easy rest day. Um, okay, yeah, cool. Up run is rowing and bench. So basically, what I kind of explained a bit. Chins and dips. Okay. How old are you, by the way? And then run day. I would do yeah, that makes sense. If you're gonna, like I said, if you're prioritizing 40, yeah, let's go. I would say if you're prioritizing your legs, if you're like again, when it comes to running, it's your program is gonna be based on what you're prioritizing. So if you're prioritizing, this is like your training time is gonna be very like you're gonna have to have some mesocycles that are specific, right? And that's how this thing kind of works for you. Because if you're prioritizing your running your legs in terms of running functionality, speed, or whatever it is, or duration, then I would have some blocks where one block is focusing on your running, endurance or power or speed or whatever it is, depending on what you're doing for legs, and then one mesocycle is focusing on, or strength, or block is focusing on leg strength. So that's how I would do it. I think when we try to blend a lot of things together, like it looks like that. Like I want to do this, but I want to do all these things. I think you have a great idea, but I want to make sure that you're having, certain training blocks or training phases that allow you to progress or emphasize one or the other, right? Instead of trying everything at once. So say like 4 to 6 weeks, you're working on still you have running into your programming or all the lifts and whatnot, but you're focused on leg, strength, maybe muscle gain, and then you're focusing on more so, maybe speed and endurance and whatnot. Does that answer your question? Let me know. Let's go back up and see what I've missed. Well, man, Shane, if I haven't answered your question, just ask it again. Copy and paste your question and post it again so I can see it at the bottom. So I have to keep scrolling up. I'm a one-man show today, guys. New member Shane, what is up? Welcome, appreciate you. New member Seated Cable Rose. My form is close to what I've seen you do. I've been getting Rex. I know what that means. Been getting Rex to go way more forward with lighter weight. Feeling like a separate exercise, to be honest. What do you think? What are Rex? Getting Rex. Let me know what that means, and I'll answer that. My bad. Oh, you got to be young, Shane. I almost want to try something out. Are you young? You're younger than me, because I haven't used Rex as short form for recommendations yet. Just for fun, and because if you're my age, then I feel old. I don't know what Rex means. So okay, back to your questions. So way more forward in terms of like how is yeah, I knew it. Like how forward are you going? Like when we're doing seated row, I'm assuming you're talking about like doing the seated row and then you're back, or like you angling a little more when you're rowing. Is that what you're saying? Like this, because I'm trying to get the picture with just reading words. Are you talking like, let's just say you're doing a seated row? Are you talking like get like lighter weight so you can go forward like this? Is that what you're meaning? Or let me know if that's what you meant. Because I'll say this, the right answer for that question, regardless, is the only reason why you kind of roll forward a bit is to give that amount of stretches you can achieve while your lats, So while your lats can stay engaged, we want to go up, enough so we can still do that. We don't want to excessive, like when you look at it this way. Right now, I'm 90 degrees and I'm retracted, right? Let's just say there's weight and I've now been protracted, right? From here and if I depress my shoulders or put weight down here, my lats are still engaged. I got a great stretch already. My shoulders, right? I'm rounded. right? And my back is still 90 degrees. I can still achieve this. Now, I can get a little bit more from here because if you think about it, the more I lean forward, the more it becomes something that looks like this, right? But again, we don't have to go all the way like this just to achieve that. So I would say like a little bit past 90 degrees, like is good enough. Again, we want to make sure that you can do this without this happening. We don't want your back rolled, right? So go as far as you can go that you can still achieve a straight flat back. Don't change form, or I would say contradict your form just to get a little more bent and get, and it's not gonna make that much more of a difference on your teres or your lats if we're doing excessive rowing, right? Because at that point, then you might as well just do a high row. You know what I mean? Tommy, did I answer your question? Let me know if I did answer your question, Tom. Get that cardio in, man. I will. So, guys, I should have said this at the beginning. For you guys that are here, I am very sorry. I'm saying sorry to all you guys. Um, the for you members that have been here, I appreciate you who followed me throughout prep and everything else like that. Yes, we will 100% be doing one time a month, at least once a month Q&A, and we're giving you exactly what you guys are in here paying for. So yes, I'll do more of these. I like doing these, to be honest. So this is going to be a regular thing for the members, guys. So appreciate you. Yeah. I hope I answered the question, but yeah, I would like if that makes sense, I would say write out your training, like even the way you have it already, like your microcycle that you've written out, and I would just kind of like plot yourself out. Some mesocycles, your entire macro cycle itself. You start off. Let's say right now you're at the end of whatever cycle you're at. Let's say you finish it. F it. Start off focusing, say like on leg strength, or say size for some, build a little more muscle, a build phase, then work on a strength phase. And then in your strength phase, you're probably doing a lot more leg or a lot more functional plyo, running mechanic stuff. And then your strength phase, you're not doing as much of that. So you can, focus on, so you can isolate or give more attention to the area that needs that attention in that phase instead of trying to blend everything together and get everything done at once. Do we really have 71 people in here? It doesn't feel like there's 71 people in here at all. How long did say I was going to go for? I don't mind going longer because these are fun. We didn't say how long. I got to put I got to say for an hour. A never-ending Q&A for the members only. Never ending. We're just going to continue doing Q&As 24-hour. We should do a 24-hour Q&A for charity. I'm having a hard time contracting my chest when I'm on the bench, even when I'm lowering the weight. I still can't contract my chest. Any tips? Ooh, I like this. So let's see. What can we do here while we are... What can I give you? Can I come with an organic cue right now? Okay, got an idea. If you're... Do me a favor. If you're on a bench, I don't know where you're watching me. Let's just say you're watching me where there's something where you can lean on, right? I want you to lean on. I'm trying to push too hard on my desk here, but let's try to do this. All right. So here's my hand, right? I'm on the bench. I'm going to lower myself to the bench, here, right? I want you to put pressure. Like I want you to put pressure like you're pushing down on the bench, like on the table. So take your hands like this, right? And I want you to put pressure, like just push pressure down like that. If you do that, you can see how my chest is actually moving for me pushing down. Now I want you to keep pushing down and then lower yourself while you're doing that. And you're going to feel your chest activated on the way. So do that right now. Right now, Wesley. Right now, Wes. I want you, if you're by a desk, put your hand down like this. All right? And I want you to press on it. Like, I want you to chest up. I want you to press down like you're trying to push down on this. And then I want you to let yourself roll down. Do that for me. But another thing too is take your bar as well too, and just trying to bend it. Bend it on the way down. Let me know if that works out for you. Mr. T, I'm 6'1", 190 pounds, 18 to 20% body fat. And I've been gaining for a year and a half. I'm still improving my composition, but I wonder how much gains I'm leaving on the table by not cutting and bulking. So I'm assuming that you think I currently work a 6 day out 6 days a week, PPL, up from 4 times a week. So I think the misconception is thinking that we have to do a cut and bulk and a cut and bulk to build muscle. And you necessarily don't. You just need consistency. And that's what people don't really understand. Is that I've talked about this a few times, but if you look at the what is required for you to build muscle, is a environment that's going to elicit muscle growth, muscle recruitment, meaning it has to be hard enough to force muscular adaptation. You have to be lifting weights enough or creating tension enough that your body wants to adapt or needs to adapt. Then after that, we need protein, the right amount of protein, 100 grams minimum, at least, if you're trying to build muscle. And then we want calories as well, too. We need calories for all these processes to happen, so you can have as much protein as you want, but you don't have enough calories in total. Doesn't matter. Your body's going to prioritize the nutrients it needs for the important things first. And then you look at your rest and recovery, water, all those things after that. That needs to be done over a course of time over and over and over and over and over again. When you cut, you slow that process down, right? And then when you bulk, you're not necessarily gaining a bunch of weight, more than sometimes just gaining a bunch more, muscle, you're probably just gaining more weight. So the best thing to do is if you're constantly consistently change your body composition and you see the metrics or the scale going up and conditioning still staying relatively at bay, then continue, right? I would say like you can, so you're 18% body fat, 20% body fat, you can build muscle in 15% body fat. For sure. You can build muscle in 50% body fat. So you can do a little mini cut if you wanted to 15% and stay there and build from there, right? I find that might be a better place to go from there, but you definitely don't need constant, cutting and bulking, right? That makes sense. But you're definitely not leaving gains on the table by not cutting and bulking. You might be leaving gains on the table by just, taking proper amount of rest days, maybe deloads, or even proper progressive overload and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that are there. I recommend, guys, that you hear, and I'm not selling you guys anything. Actually, I am selling you guys something. I'm being honest. If I don't answer a question here and I can't necessarily get the entire question answered in the way you want, I would highly recommend booking a consult. Because it's me and you one-on-one, and it's a video call, and we talk about everything you would say in this conversation, but way more in depth with yourself. So I'm doing my best to answer the questions. I hope I'm giving you guys the right answers that work best, but feel free to book a consult. But again, also I'll be doing these, and a lot of these questions that I'm getting, I will definitely use for content for sure, because these are great questions that you're asking. So how old are you, Mr. T? And Wesley, let me know if that worked. I haven't heard from you yet, Wes. Thank you, brother. Hey, appreciate it. I'll check it as soon as we're done here, and I'll be wrapping up here in the next, I would say, 5 minutes, guys. 32. Cool. Okay, cool. So you're young. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, and you're not getting up there in age. I'm not gonna say you're getting up there in age. I would say that having a good, having a consistent amount of calories, with consistent training over time and proper, periodization and overload will get you to where you need to go. But you also need to have an end goal, I would say, or look that you're trying to get to a place where you're trying to sustain. Like for me, I wouldn't say an end goal because we're always going to be evolving, but there should be like, where do you want to take your physique? What are we trying to achieve? You know, there can be a end goal for uh body fat percentage for sure. You can say I've never been more than 50% body fat in the last 20 years. I'm dead serious. And I bodybuilt for 10 years and I've always tracked it. And then when I played football for 5 years of college, um, our coach was close to Charles Poliquin, so we were doing biosigs all the time. So I've I've never been more than 50% body fat. So when it comes to body fat percentages, you can definitely get to a point where you can sustain that body fat percentage, which I would say 10 to 15% is very sustainable. Um, but then, what's your training look like after that? Like, what do we want to look like? What does that look like? What is the body composition? What does that body recomp look like? Do we just want to have the nice shoulders and chest? And when we're there, what does it look like? And when we're there, is that it? And then are we just evolving from there? And then we have the physique we want. Then we want to be more functional. So you have to have like, and like kind of like end goals and little mini goals of what you're trying to achieve, instead of like, I want to continue body recomp, right? If you're doing well with that, continue. But again, you also have to always think about this, especially because you're 32 and you're getting older as well too, is that this is something that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Like we're doing, like this is like you're going to be brushing teeth and taking a shower for the rest of your life. So that is how we need to approach training. So if your goal is to be at a certain body fat percentage and a look, understand you have the rest of your life to do this. So leaving gains on the table, I would say I think leaving gains on the table is more so of like, not training as efficient. If you're not eating enough food, you're not training hard enough, I would say like, yeah, for sure, leaving gains on the table. But like, not bulking and cutting enough is definitely not leaving gains on the table. Um, that answers your question. No, it worked. I can contract my chest all day with no load. Yeah. So when you're loading, so when you're under, so understand this, like when you're loading on the way down, so essentially do the same thing you just did, but I want you to do the same thing from the top. So do the same thing here and load down. That is essentially loading. So get used to doing that. And then like using a weight, that you can achieve that. And I would say like like a couple things I'm gonna do a really in-depth like what I'm feeling myself when I'm training so you can feel it. But like one of the things I do is as soon as my elbows crack, as soon as I do this, right? I'm thinking about the my chest is immediately taking the load. And then when it's lowering, I'm thinking about that feeling on the way down. And then I'm thinking about squeezing my chest on the way up to pull in, right? So when I'm always thinking about when the weight comes down is that as second my elbows crack, that's when that load is being shifted right onto my chest. Right here, yeah, my chest is being contracted at the top, but this is more so like I'm being held up and propped up on my triceps. This alignment here. I'm in a plank. I can do this for days. The second I crack my elbows and open that chest and expand, I'm feeling that load on here. So use that kind of drill I did as pushing down the weight. I mean on the weight, Jesus Christ, pushing down on your table or your chair or whatever it is, and then and then chest up, and then low down slowly, and do it as slow as you possibly can or need to feel your weight, feel that weight, that muscle being contracted. Sometimes I feel that people sometimes really don't understand what a contraction actually is, and they might be feeling it in their chest, but they don't really understand how to explain what they're actually feeling or what a contraction is. Because for me, if your body posture is where it needs to be, there's no possible way that you can't feel your chest. That's I'm not saying you're a liar at all. I'm just saying that's how I feel. Say, like, I had a client one day who was like, I can't feel my biceps. And I'm like, did you go to failure? Like, did you, like, where'd your set go? Did you? It's like, yeah, I did a set until I couldn't go anymore. I'm like, then how do you not feel your chest, your bicep? I find it's almost impossible unless your posture is in a way where, even if I was doing the worst looking bicep exercise, for me to do this, I have to use my bicep. Like, there's no possible way to mankind I can do elbow flexion without my bicep being engaged, right? There has to be, like, I have to, for that contraction to happen, it has to, you know what I mean? So I think that interpreting what you're feeling, I think would be the best way to try to explain why you don't feel like you're making contraction. Do your best to interpret what your body's going through. And I think it's a big thing when it comes to muscle mind connection, is being able to interpret what you're feeling. And that interpretation, I find, is sometimes is non-existent, because the focus is more so on doing the exercise or just putting the weight up and down, more so than, like, where am I feeling this, from floor to core, where am I feeling all of this, how aware am I about, where's the load, how does it feel, what's being involved in lowering the weight, what are my feet doing during this, how's my core engaged, where are my shoulders in terms of relation to the bench, where are my hands, how much am I gripping, being able to interpret how you feel might be one of those things that'll bring you closer to a better understanding of a muscle mind connection. That makes sense. I feel a delicious stretch, but I think it's more of the squeezing at the top is more. Oh, cool! I got a better one for you. Here's one. Go like this. All right, take your hands like this, shoulders back and away from ears. Right, same idea. You're gonna press on, so you want to make sure your lats are engaged. Right, so we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep that engagement. Right, shoulders are back. Right, now I want you to try to touch the inside of your elbows together while pushing away, right? But don't let your shoulders round. Keep them the way they are. I want you to push away while trying to touch both of these. Put it this way. If I'm not going to be condescending. Parallel lines never touch. So your arms are parallel lines and you're pushing away and you're trying to touch the inside here. And let me know if you feel your chest. Bet you feel your chest. That's how you should feel the top of your lift. You're pushing at the top and you're literally trying to touch your inside of your elbows together and you can't. You're pushing away, but we're not retracting. Protracting. We're retracted and pushing. We're trying to touch, right? Or try to touch squeeze a pen between your chest while you do that. Let me know if that worked. I want to know. And since you're the last one that's kind of communicating, this will be the last thing I answer. I'm going to wait. Give that a try. For everyone here that was in this and came in and just either watched, if I didn't answer your question, please, guys, ask it again. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and do that with no weight. Do it with the bar. Right? Bring it down, like a couple things with the bar too. You can pretend you're trying to bend the bar as well too on the way down, right? Feel it. And then on the way up, same thing. I want you to try to touch. And then when you get to the top of the bench, push yourself into the bench even more, head back and just push it away and just squeeze, right? Again, that part of the lift is good, but the most important part of that is the delicious, juicy stretch at the bottom. So I would be more focused on that and using the top end of that range as being your full range of motion. That's your um that's your full range of motion. What your full range is from here and then here, right? That's fine. But don't spend so much time here, right? If you're gonna, the question would be, statement would be more so that great full range of motion is here, but the most important part of this lift is you lowering the weight and that stretched part here, right? And then finishing, getting all fully through is what we want as well too. But this is where we really want to spend some time down here more so than up here. We want that rep to come down like this, a nice stretch, and then boom, and then right back down. We don't want to spend time locking out here that much at all, right? So change that around. Awesome. Air bike, rower, or usually do to zone 2, 40 minutes, eco bike, 40 minutes, Stairmaster. So I'll give you this. Any of those that you can stay on the longest and you like to do, like, they're, put it this way, an air assault bike, a rower, and a running are all great ways to burn calories at a high rate, right? Running is hard, rowing is hard, your entire body's, your compound movement, your entire body's doing it, and sales air bike. They're all great ways to do cardio. My thing is going to be what's going to give you the most amount of calorie burn, what's going to give you the most amount of joy while doing it, right? I like air assault bikes. I love rowing, and I don't like running that much. So if anything, I'm gonna do, if I had to pick between them, for me, I would do a rower because I can do a rower longer. Air assault bike, I have one in the basement. It's tough as hell. I can do 20 minutes, at a good decent pace. But like I do that every once in a while if I'm adding that in with like my functional training, or I want to do a little more endurance training. I'll do that. Again, it's always going to be what you have the best connection with, right? Like that's your answer to all of those things, especially when it comes to cardio. Oh my God, do the cardio that's going to give you the most amount of calorie burn, and you're going to enjoy doing it the most, or the one that sucks the least. Yeah. Well, cool, guys. Hey, I'm gonna get off. I appreciate you guys. Went for hour. I can easily do an hour and a half. Let's do this again. Next month I'll make an announcement earlier this time so you guys have more. So you can be more prepared to ask whatever questions you want. You guys are already prepared. And I'm also not gonna have this on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not gonna be on Super Bowl Sunday either. I'm not gonna have this on Football Sunday. So let me know in the comment section, or just even on the in the post, let me know what's the best time that you guys would want one of these, whether it be like, a weekday at nighttime, or the weekend only on a Saturday or whatever. Let me know. We'll take an average and we'll make that the time moving forward. But appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you for just supporting me and following and giving me suggestions, guys. I take a lot of my ideas from you guys. So if there's anything that you guys want to see, that you want me to cover, even things we talked to about right now, and you're like, hey man, my question wasn't answered thoroughly, but I can get Johnny to do a free video for me, heck yeah, I'll do that video for you guys. So let me know and I'll get that done for you. But until next time, guys, I will be out. You guys enjoy your Sunday, finish watching your games, and till next time, guys, you know what it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive will overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing, and God bless. Thank you. Good. I'm glad I stuck on for that. Good. And I'll do more of those. Let me know what you want, Axel. I'll deliver it for you. Take care, guys. And be safe. I'll see you.